Google just showed the world, formally, what they think search is actually for. And it's not really for you. I mean, literally, the shift means that searching the web will increasingly be performed by AI agents rather than humans. They want this AI to buy things, book trips, and choose vendors on your behalf. These AI overviews now reach 2.5 billion users monthly. They want Gemini Spark to read your Gmail, Docs, and Calendar to personalize your results. Now, the good news, and what a lot of these videos haven't talked about, is that there are genuinely amazing alternatives to Google with completely different business models, and switching is easier than you think. So I want to actually show you them and what each of them provides and how it differs from something like Google, so that you can hopefully get inspired and at least start using these, and maybe down the road you can start leaving Google. DuckDuckGo is definitely one of the most popular ones. And actually, they have Duck AI, they have a browser, they have everything, and they have a little search assistant. But actually, fear not. A lot of people don't know that you can access noai.duckduckgo.com, where they turn off all of that AI stuff, so none of it shows up. But if you do like the AI stuff, you can still get that through DuckDuckGo. Now, DuckDuckGo gets a lot of their search results from Bing, but it never passes your identity to Microsoft. They do have ads if you're not using an ad blocker, but it's only contextual ads, which means if you search for baby diapers, then they might give you baby ads, but they're not going to use previous queries or tie something to a profile to deliver that to you, which is quite different from Google. I think DuckDuckGo is probably the most popular one. It's an easy switch because it is a default option in even Safari, and pretty much every browser out there that I can even think of has DuckDuckGo as an option. So this is an easy switch that you can easily try out. Brave Search is another good search engine, and they, unlike DuckDuckGo, use their own index. What this means is that instead of being like DuckDuckGo, where they're essentially tapping on Microsoft and asking them to get their search results and then proxying them to you privately, Brave actually just indexes the web themselves. And so that is a cool way to get away from big tech. I think this is overall the best quality search results for something that uses its own index right now in 2026. UI is obviously personal preference, but I think this one is quite polished. And all of these search engines that I'm going to showcase today have more settings, so you can customize things a little bit more. Brave's business model is actually kind of threefold for Brave Search. The first is that they sell B2B because since they have their own index, they can actually sell access to their index to other companies. They also make money from ads in Brave Search. And the third is that you can just subscribe to remove the ads. So that's kind of that. Now, the next option is really good for people who really enjoy the quality of Google's results. So StartPage is going to take Google results and proxy them, kind of like what DuckDuckGo does with Bing, but does it via a privacy-respecting mechanism so that you can get the best of both worlds. StartPage's main way of making money is the same as DuckDuckGo, which is they serve you those contextual advertisements. So those are advertisements that are done in a more privacy-respecting manner, and they only target whatever you searched for in that one query. One other feature I do like about StartPage is if you click anonymous view under any of these search results, it's actually going to open a window via a proxy. So they're actually going to access the site on your behalf. And this is a really nice way to avoid fingerprinting and also hide your IP address on websites, which is quite cool. Now, these are the three options that I would actually recommend most people start on. They deliver 80-90% of what you might get from Google, if not for some people 100%, if they actually want search results that respect them a little bit better. But if none of them cut it for you, there are a few more options that I wanted to throw in your court. The first is a little bit newer. It's called KAGI, and they are actually a fully paid service. And the idea behind KAGI is it's a paid subscription. So you are the customer. There's zero ads. There's zero data selling. And people who use KAGI absolutely love it. I mean, I know all of you out there use it. You guys leave comments on our videos. Some people say that KAGI's search results are even better than Google's, and they do a really good job of just bringing all this together in one roof. If you've ever just thought to yourself, I'd rather just pay for a search engine that works for me and I don't want to think about this is probably that option for you. Now, the next option is a little bit more DIY, and it's called, I think the way to say this is SEARXNG. It is actually the only open source option that I have to share with you today. Now, this one is the most DIY of all of them, but don't be intimidated because you don't have to host this yourself. You definitely can, and I know some of you out there might want to do that, but if you just go to SEARX, search.space, it's going to just list out public instances. And, typically these top ones here that have mostly green are the ones you can use. So in this case, this is an instance. So this is someone that's hosting it on behalf of you, so you don't have to manage this yourself. And then once you're here, then you can do your search. Now, SEARXNG is a meta search engine. So what this is going to do is it's actually going to give you results from countless different search engines, from Google to Bing, etc. And you can actually see this yourself in the settings. You can toggle on whatever search engines you want to be included in your search results. This is probably, I would say, maybe objectively the most powerful search engine you can possibly get your hands on. There's nothing you can't do with this. You can even host it yourself on your own server or anywhere else you want. And this is how you can have complete ownership over your search queries. And now another independent crawler, so this is someone else who's going out there and crawling the internet themselves, is MOJEEK. It's a smaller index, so it's probably not going to give you the best results here. And a lot of people say that's not quite as good as something like Brave Search. If you can't tell, I have a little bit more limited experience with MOJEEK, but I feel like I can't make this video without at least mentioning them as an option for some of you to consider as well if you want an alternative independent index to Brave Search. And as you can see here, they do have contextual ads, which is their main revenue model. Now, I do want to be clear that while you can use MOJEEK with just its own index, they actually have search selections, so you can even toggle on other things. So those are all the options I wanted to put in your court. I think what a lot of people are missing that I'm seeing in their coverage is they're complaining about Google, but they're not really offering a list of alternatives for people to migrate to. And I think that's important because Google profits when you click ads, when you use their AI services, when they collect more and more of your data. But all of these providers that I've shown you don't have those same incentives, right? Like KAGI profits when you subscribe, and they have an incentive to pretty much keep you happy as a consumer. DuckDuckGo profits on an untracked ad that has nothing to do with tracking you across the internet. Now, I do also want to be clear that this doesn't have to be all or nothing. The internet is so polarized nowadays. It's either I use Google or I use SEARXNG. Those are the only two options, but there is no reason why you can't be, using multiple search engines. So maybe what you can do is you can set Brave or DuckDuckGo as your default search engine in your browsers, and then you can do something called a bang. So let's say, I put in my test query that I've been doing today, and I'm like, okay, these results, they're poop. I hate these results. Well, at the end of your query, you don't even have to get rid of it. You just do G ! Hit enter, and it will actually redirect that same exact query to Google right away. Or you can actually do D ! And redirect it to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo has the same features. So I went from Brave to DuckDuckGo, and now let's go to Google. So this makes it really possible and realistic to just switch your search engine, start using one, seeing if you like it. If you don't like it, maybe try one of the other ones on this list. You can use StartPage, you can use DuckDuckGo, you can use Brave Search. I think those are the three easiest starting points. And then use bangs when something doesn't work. In fact, you could even go here, type Techlore, and do YT ! Boom, you're back on YouTube, everybody. Isn't that meta? So Google didn't just kill search, they changed whose interests it serves. Every engine on this list will never do this crap because they aren't incentivized to not serve you. You are their interest, and they built a business model to prove it. Pick any of these in this video, try it for a week, and I'll see you next time on Techlore. Let me know what you guys think and what you're using for your search engine.